What's up, guys, and welcome back to my channel. If you've been here, you know that I've been struggling with a hip flexor injury for a really long time. It's been about 9 months now, and I was on this journey that I tried to pull you guys along with me to get better, and it didn't really work out. So I had to quit for a little while, but I am back, and I just wanted to give you an update on how I'm doing and how far I've made it and what's going on. So, here is your update and kind of a turning point as to what is actually going on, how I'm doing now, and how I'm going to heal. Okay, guys, so it turns out I actually did have hip flexor issues, but that wasn't the main problem. It was a symptom of something else. I learned that I have a hip labral tear, and I'm not quite sure the extent of it yet. I broke down. I finally went to an orthopedic specialist, and it was a full body specialist. And they are the ones that actually told me that it is what they believe is a hip labral tear. And he thinks it's bad enough that I might have to have surgery. So he referred me to an ortho who is an actual hip specialist who can do the surgery. So I have an appointment with them in 2 weeks. But all of the symptoms he said that I have lines up with that was the problem from the beginning. And looking back, it makes sense to me now, but having no idea, having never had that injury, I would have never known. So I'm going to tell you what my symptoms were and how they lined up and what I wish I had done now that I know what I have. So, okay, the first thing I wish I had done, I cut off all ibuprofen from my life. I didn't take any ibuprofen, no Tylenol. Every time I took a minimal amount of ibuprofen, I would pop my hip, it would swell in the muscle, it would get worse, and it would take me a week to get back to, sometimes two, where I was in the healing process. And so I cut out all ibuprofen. Here's what I didn't know: that pain and swelling was caused by the hip popping out of joint and trying to pop out of joint. And so that would irritate my hip flexor because it didn't have a whole lot of muscle because all I did was rest for 9 months. It would tear a little bit and swell and be irritated, and I wouldn't be able to walk. So, had I taken, here's my tip for you, going back to the beginning. Number one, go to the doctor, tell them what's going on, ask for 800 ibuprofen. If you're in a lot of pain to the point where you can't walk, you can't turn, you can't sleep, you can't stand, ask for 800 ibuprofen. But here's my caution: take it, the swelling will go down, and apparently the pain is caused by the swelling. Didn't know that. And it's hard for your body to heal if it's swelling. So, all kinds of fun things that I didn't know. I thought I was doing what was right for my body, but it turns out I was putting myself in pain for no reason, and the pain was preventing me from healing. I didn't know. I just thought, let's push through the pain. So, when you take the ibuprofen, if you decide to go that route, if you and your doctor are both on board with it, I am not a doctor. I am not licensed to give medical opinions. This is just from my personal experience. So, full disclosure, go to your doctor, go to an ortho, talk to them, and do whatever they tell you to do. But if you take the 800 ibuprofen, do not go work out on it because that is just you numbing the pain. Swelling is your body's way of preventing you from getting further injury. So, still rest, but enjoy not being in pain, and that'll actually help your body to heal better. Don't go run a marathon and be like, yes, now's my moment. Don't do it. So that's number one. Number two, I wish that I had gone to physical therapy right away after the month of resting that I had. Well, I didn't really rest like I should have. I rested 2 weeks and then I went straight back to running a 5K. Number one, I wish I had rested for a full month. For a full month, eased back into it. Even though my doctor said, hey, resume normal activity, I wish that I had rested a full month and then eased into it. That I wish I had done more physical work. I didn't know this at the time, but my muscles were weak. And that is why the running caused my labrum to tear, because my hip flexor muscle was not strong enough. My glutes weren't strong enough to prevent injury. So something I didn't know as a runner is that yes, running is great, but you also need to be doing strength training to support your hip joints while you are doing that. And I had no idea. So now I know. And so I wish I had rested. I wish I'd eased back into it, that I had slowly started to build my muscles up around my hip. And this is me telling you, as long as your doctor clears you, rest for a month, ease back into it, listen to your body. If you feel like you are sore or in pain or it's starting to come back, stop immediately. Stop immediately. rest, ice, elevation, and then try again. Figure out what the trigger was, make sure that you're doing everything that you can to really rest at the beginning, right when it happens, the moment it happens, rest, and then ease back into it. Physical therapy. I wish that I had taken advantage of physical therapy at the very beginning after resting and doing everything I was supposed to have a professional say, this is how far you need to push it. This is where you need to push it to. And then when you get to that point, you need to stop and you need to rest. Because I'm not the person where you really have to get me to push it. I won't push it. I'm the opposite. I will push it until I injure myself and I can't do anything else. So I wish I had rested for a full month and then gotten into physical therapy immediately and was like, hey, I had a serious injury. Tell me what I need to do step by step, moment by moment, because I'll listen if someone maps it out. The third thing I wish is that when they started doing tests, I wish I had known that I was supposed to ask for an MRI with contrast, because apparently that's where you can see it the best. So if this is you, if you think you have a labral tear and you're going into the doctor, first of all, if you feel like your doctor, if they've done an x-ray, if they've done anything and they're like, well, we just don't see anything, go to physical therapy, accept their answer, and then request to be moved to an orthopedic specialist of the hip or knee or leg or any of those specialties, because that is what they do. And then once there, request an MRI with contrast. Didn't know. Apparently that's the way you see a labrum tear, is with an MRI with contrast. So get in there, ask for an ortho, be an advocate for yourself, ask for 800 ibuprofen, still rest, don't try to do anything crazy, and then go see the ortho. Once you get to the ortho, they check you out and they do the tests. If they say nothing's wrong, I mean, listen to them, but at least do all of those things. Do all of your due diligence and then go back to physical therapy. I'm in physical therapy right now. I haven't seen the second ortho. So I went to one ortho and immediately he was like, you have a labral tear. You need to go get an MRI with contrast. You need to go see a specialist. It was immediate. I had seen my doctor for 9 months and nothing. Oh, there's nothing wrong with you. Just continue to do physical therapy, which drove me nuts because I'm like, well, if there's nothing wrong with me, why am I in pain? And so just immediately if you're a month in and you're still in pain, be like, hey, this isn't working. Could you please refer me to an orthopedic specialist? And if your injury's in your hip, then ask for a request an ortho who specializes in hip, knee, or leg. So yeah, all these things. I had no idea. But I'm using my knowledge and I'm giving it to you. So if you are a runner or if you're an active person and you're having hip problems or any injury, this is for you. So those are all the things that I wish I had done. So now that I know better, those are all the things. Right now where I'm at, I am going to see the second orthopedic specialist who specializes in hip, knee, leg problems with sports. They are the surgeon. So they're going to check me out. They're going to do their own assessment, give me an MRI, and then they're going to tell me if I need surgery. I know it's a labral tear. We know it's a labral tear, which is nice. Having an answer it's heavenly, because once you've been going through this problem for 9 months and everyone's like, well, we just don't know, or there's nothing wrong with you, you start to feel crazy. You start to feel like it's never going to get better. And this is me telling you that they told me what it is. My first question, am I still going to be able to do what I love? Even if I need surgery, worst case scenario, can I go back to being myself? And he said yes. And it was like a weight was lifted to know that there's an end to this. A, that we know what's wrong, and B, that there's an end to this. So if you're at that point where I was, where you're depressed and you feel like this is never going to get better, I am here to tell you it's going to get better. There is an end in sight, and you're not alone. I totally get it. I totally get it. Something I've had to do. This has been good for me in a lot of ways. It has opened my eyes to just how much I put my body through. I don't think I would have gotten to this point with my body, with my injury, if I was fueling properly. So something that I have learned is that all the macros are important. My body couldn't heal when I wasn't getting enough fat, when I wasn't getting enough carbs. So throughout the last 9 months, I've been trying to lose weight because my thought process was, well, if I can't strength train or I can't work out, well, at least I can lose weight and, count my calories, sorry. And there's nothing wrong with that. But the way I was doing it was wrong. Your body needs carbs, fats, proteins, all the macros in order to heal. And I tried cutting out carbs and I lost weight, but then my body started to pop even worse than it was. And so I started eating carbs again. And then I tried cutting out fat, and that worked. I was losing weight. But then my body started feeling weak, fragile. My muscles, I felt like I couldn't even stand. And I know now after talking to my physical therapist, it's okay to lose weight. He said, this is what he said: talk to your doctor, talk to your physical therapist. Again, I am not a doctor, but this is my experience. He said, yes, you can lose weight. You can cut your calories. Don't cut them too low, and do not cut out any macros. And it was like a light bulb went off in my head. I had been putting my body through so much, and it's like just trying to heal. It was probably thinking, just give me a chance. And so I am learning to really appreciate my body, to give it what it needs. If I get back to When I get back to the things that I love from now on, I will go on calorie deficits, but I'm going to have an end to it. I was to the point where I was on 1,800 calories for months and months and months, and I'd have a binge day or a binge week, and then I'd be on a calorie deficit for months and months and months, and your body just cannot do that. Like, if my goal is really to build strength, if it's really to get better at my craft or to gain muscle or whatever it is, I have to be in a calorie surplus sometimes. My body is going to need the extra carbs, the extra fat, the extra protein. And even if I gain weight, I'm still beautiful. I'm still strong. I'm still going places. And that's just something I don't think I've ever shaken. Like, sometimes I pride myself and I'm like, yeah, I've made it through that. I'm not like that anymore. And I've decided it's not true. It's always going to be something I struggle with. My weight, the way I look, allowing myself to eat a normal amount of carbs is always going to be something that I struggle with. But at least this injury has taught me that that has to be my focus from now on. That if I can't mentally make myself do it, then I have got to set parameters. Okay, fine, be on a calorie deficit, but your cutoff is, 3 months. After 3 months, or that's even too long. Like, even hearing that come out of my mouth, like, be on a calorie deficit for a month, and then be on a surplus for a week or two, be on a calorie deficit for 2 months, and then take a month off and be at your maintenance. And so I think that's going to be my new focus from now on, is what is my maintenance. I don't even know. If you asked me, I mean, I could go get the body scan done for $25 at this clinic in town, and it'll tell me. But I think I did that one time, and it spit out like 1,200 at rest. If I'm doing nothing but breathing, it's 1,200. Like, well, that's not helpful, because I am a stress person. I burn calories by stressing, and I burn calories by walking around. I walk, I move. Even at my restiest of rests, I still was doing dishes. I still was doing laundry. And so I need to figure out what my actual maintenance calories is. What is that? Because then if I go on a deficit, I'll know how to take away, what to take 100 calories away from, and see what happens. What to take 200 away from. I could guess. And I've always known that if I just eat very small portions, I'll lose weight. But yeah, those small portions, I think I cut out like 600 or 800 calories. That's way too much. I mean, for anyone, that's way too much. So learning to love myself, learning when to rest and when enough is enough, learning to listen to my body's symptoms. If I feel weak or lightheaded, that is bad. If I get to the point where I'm feeling lightheaded, that's bad. And so it's been very important for me to learn to love my body, to listen to the symptoms, to listen to everything as my body's communication. And that's important. Okay, so if you're wondering if you have the same injury I had, I don't want it to take 9 months for you. So what I'm going to do is tell you my personal symptoms, and then you might have had the same ones, maybe you didn't, but every forum I've read online, every person I've listened to, we don't all have the same symptoms, for the record, but there is a broad range of symptoms. So I'll tell you mine, and then maybe you can compare them to yours and go check it out to see if you have this. So the first symptom I ever had was a shocking pain. It was in my hip. It radiated all the way down to my leg, my kneecap, down into my ankle. It was severe. It went away with minimal rest. And so I thought everything was fine, that it was just a normal injury I had while I was doing my normal exercises. Then I went back into where I was. Shocking pain came back again. This time it didn't go away for days. So I went to the doctor. He said to rest for 2 weeks and then resume. So I rested for 2 weeks, resumed normal activity. And that is when I started getting the hip flexor problems and a popping sensation that would cause my muscle to feel swollen and unhappy and torn. And so that's where it all began, was a shocking pain. And that shocking pain was in my groin. I could feel stabs of pain in my glute. Like, if you imagine where your hip would be on your backside, that's where I felt the pain. They call it like a C pain. So if you make a C with your hand and you put it, my pain is here. And then where it connects on the back side, it hurts there. They call that C pain. I've never heard that in my life, but it hurts. So that's where it hurts, in the front and in that part on my glute or thigh. It's where my hip on the outside meets my glute. It's a pain. And I can always tell when I screw up because I can feel a pop, or like my hip is clunking into place if I take a step to the left or I take a step back, or if I'm turning or rotating and my hip just cannot support it. My hip joint can't support it. I'll feel a pop. It'll be immediate pain in my glute is where I feel it. It's in my glute. And sometimes my back will hurt. My back, I'll lay down after a long day and my back is on fire. And so those are my symptoms. There's plenty more I've gained throughout it. And so the reason that my hip flexor was injured is because that is a symptom or a side effect that can happen if you have a labral tear, because that tear and that rubbing irritates your hip flexor. Some other symptoms I occurred is that sitting for long periods of time caused pain. I could sit for 15, 20 minutes, but like in an L shape. And that's what caused me pain. If I was laying down, it was okay. There were times within the last 9 months that even laying down was painful. I had to put my legs in just this perfect position. Otherwise, it felt just like my hip joint was on fire. I don't even know. I don't even know how else to explain it. Walking is definitely out of the question. It's October and I'm doing really good with my physical therapy, and I've been able to walk for longer periods of time. But trick or treating, no, absolutely not. My daughter had a parade and it was just down one street and back. And by the time I got down, I was in pain and sore. And I'm still feeling my hip is still upset with me today because of that. So, walking for extended periods of time, absolutely not. Laying down is good right now. Sitting, no, for long periods of time, that hurts. Sometimes, so the weirdest pain I've had is I will have like a spasm in my glute muscle where that C pain is that I was talking about. If it pops, I'll just feel my I'll feel my glute muscle go. I know, I'm like, okay, I've messed up. Takeaways from this: go see your doctor right away. If they don't know what's going on, request an orthopedic appointment with a specialist in the area of your injury and ask for an MRI with contrast. I mean, as soon as possible, back to back. If you've been in pain for a month, don't be in pain like as long as I was for months and months and months at a time. Don't do it. And even if the pain starts to go away, see a physical therapist to make sure that you're building the correct muscles to relieve pain from your joint so that it can heal. So that's why I got re-injured. I was healing and doing well around April, May, and then I didn't do physical therapy. And so my muscles were not strengthened and it ended up tearing the labrum again. So be smart, do what the doctor says, be an advocate for yourself, ask for 800 ibuprofen, not to resume normal activity, but to help your body rest while you're resting, to heal while you're resting. So that's where I'm at. I am excited for the future. I will update you and let you know if I have to have surgery. But as far as the injury goes, that's a good ending for that journey because I figured out what it was. I am making steps in the right direction to heal. It will be a part of my life for a while, but now I get to strength train. I've been approved by my physical therapist to strength train, and I am just over the moon excited. So I'm going to start my goals over again for getting stronger, and I don't know who I'm going to be in a year, but you're going to start that journey with me soon. So I can't wait to share that with you. And thanks for stopping by. And thank you for joining me on this terrible time in my life. Injury it's hard for me. So